All right, y'all, something a little different today. I'm going to take you guys through my symmetry round posing. Again, with posing, it's one of those things where you want to do it frequently and in small amounts. Frequently because, again, it's a skill that's not very demanding from a recovery standpoint, right? It's not a squat, it's not a deadlift, right, where you have to take that into consideration. So frequency is better than like infrequent longer sessions. But then also the shorter sessions like really work out because you kind of cap yourself when it comes to how much time you're going to be in the zone. So other than outside of just kind of going through the motions, like it just really locks you in. So I like my, this is the system I used last year and this is the system I'm using this year where it's 6 sessions a week, Monday through Saturday, 10 minutes of symmetry, and then 3 muscularity rounds. So symmetry round, again, that's going to be, it's crazy. We call it symmetry and muscularity round. And then PC, I think they call it, I don't know what they call it, but I know they call it muscularity mandatories, I guess. So I don't know what they have never heard symmetry in the NPC, but we differentiate for sure in natural bodybuilding between symmetry and muscularity. So symmetry round being so important, you don't have a good symmetry round, you're screwed. You are screwed. I've seen some bodybuilders who had pretty good packages just lose it out in the symmetry where it's hard to come back. Symmetry is that important. Again, symmetry is almost like the figure poses. It's so exposing. You can't hide stuff. Like that is to a large extent going to be driven by your skeletal structure, your muscular shape, and yes, conditioning as well, but primarily those two. And it's the first impression, right? The symmetry round. So I prioritize that more, and I do that 6 times a week for 10 minutes. And then muscularity, everything from front double bicep all the way to the most musculars. Basically, just 3 rounds of that. Eventually, not this week, but maybe this week. Yeah, probably this week. What I'm going to start doing is Saturdays will be my endurance rounds, where I will literally pose asymmetry for about 15 minutes. And then another like 7 minutes or so of muscularity. And this is just to build up my endurance. In natural bodybuilding, like we're not up there for, 3-5 minutes like they do in the NPC. You are up there until everything is sorted out and the judges can not just differentiate between 5th place and like 9th place and like get the order of that stuff right, but also, keep a close eye on when it comes to the guys in the front of the pack and see if something changes, right? So I really like that feature because it really brings out the, like, do you really want this? Do you really want this? Like, wherever you are at in the pack, some way, halfway through the posing, you really have to cement your feet so that you stay there and possibly advance a few spots because the people ahead of you aren't necessarily doing their job as well as you are. So yeah, today I'm just gonna not mic up, but I have my AirPods on and I'm gonna take you guys through that, and I'll just be narrating as I pose, which means my posing for sure is gonna be a tad bit off because it's not Jeff Alberts, man. Like Jeff could probably talk through these things as he does it, but for me, not only is my target smaller because I'm not as symmetrical as Jeff. Like the more symmetry you have, the more you can kind of be off by an inch or two with your points, with your joint angles rather, and still get away with it. But here's the thing with Jeff, like he doesn't ever miss. Like he is so sharp. But he could run you through that. With me, it's going to be a little distracting. So I'll probably do a lot of things that look unorthodox or weird or off, and you'll be able to see that back relax look different from the back relax before. But again, these are all things that I need to sort out, and I'm much better at, trust me, when I am not talking and trying to instruct as I go through the posing. So yeah, this is just my symmetry round, none of the mandatories or muscularity poses. And again, super important. So I really do try to prioritize this when starting my posing practice, which I have been for a little over a month now. Finally, that is the most pessimistic light ever. Also super flat. I know all competitive bodybuilders, when prepping, they give you that small print and like, I'm flat. Well, you should be flat, right? Most of the time anyways, or not as full as, maybe you are in the off season. So a little flat, a little pessimistic looking. But again, like this is a picture I took recently. Good lighting, pump, big difference. But especially on me, in all my years working with athletes, I've never had an athlete that just fluctuates so much when it comes to their muscular size based on the carb up and based on the pump. Honestly, it kind of freaking annoys me, but that's just what I have to work with. So let's get to this, and a little niche today, right? Super niche. So hopefully, those of you guys who don't necessarily compete get something from this, even if it's just appreciation of like the work and the skill that goes into doing this. And for you competitive bodybuilders, especially you newer folks, hopefully you pick up a few things here that you can apply to your situation. So yeah, let's get rolling with it. All right. So I usually start with my 10-minute symmetry, and then the muscularity round comes after. Today, I'm just going to go through symmetry with you guys, and this is going to work in both ways. Maybe there's certain things I'm doing that especially you guys who compete in natural bodybuilding aren't thinking of. I don't know if I have as much to offer to the veterans, like posing, I'm solid at, but I'm definitely not a Jeff Alberts. So these are just things that help me, and hopefully you can take a little bit from it, and hopefully I take a little bit from it, because can probably be a little bit off because I'm speaking and posing, but again, when you teach something, it really helps just hammer these concepts into your own brain. So we'll start with the front relax, and like all poses, I start from essentially from the legs up. So I make sure those are set. What I'm literally doing is, this is kind of my kickstand leg, and this leg is pushing away, right? So this one's just kind of holding whatever force I'm putting into the ground with this foot, and we're not done yet. Then we kind of get into a little mini squat in order to get a little bit more flexion and detail up here. And for me, like, this is a big cue when it comes to my lower body, is if I feel tension here, my legs are set. I try not to focus too much on creating tension through like the bottom of my quads. That is very fatiguing. It's much easier to create the yank and the tension through up here. So this is cue number one on my front pose. And of course, you have to be smoother and faster when I'm doing it on stage. So yeah, place weight or force in this direction with my right leg, and this one just kind of holds it, and it's all the tension's kind of coming through like up here. Like, I'm aware of that, and yeah, and I'm not squeezing the crap out of it like 8 out of 10 when it comes to how tight. And as you get leaner, you can even get away with like 7 out of 10. All right, and then up here, I'm gonna rest my legs. On the front relax, what I focus on is literally just my sartorius popping. So if this muscle here, serratus anterior, if this is turned on, your scaps are flat. So they're spread. And literally that's all that I'm thinking of as I'm going back and forth on stage. This is a pose that super important. You'll probably spend close to a third or about a quarter of your time in this pose. So you better nail it, because sometimes when they're thinking about how they want to move the athletes, this is the pose that you're in, is you wait for them to move you around, hopefully to a better spot. So yeah, serratus anterior, I just think of this. So when I'm hitting this pose, all I think of is serratus anterior and hips, and my brain's kind of scanning back and forth between both those 2 points. Little internal rotation for me works well. Just like a little bit of this like shoulder meat rolled forward. And then I try not to do something funky or too distracting with like my arms. okay? More or less, that's my front relax. And again, I've gotten that one to the point. I'm curious to see what it looks like right now, because I can't see myself in the mirror, and I'm still in that stage where I'm depending on the mirror about 50% of the time. But yeah, just 2 cues. You might need 3, 4, or 5 cues at the start, things to remember, but eventually you want to consolidate them so that you have 1 cue for your lower body and 1 cue for your upper body, and you're just kind of scanning back and forth with those, right? And then my side relax, foot for me is easier. It's easier for me to do what I'm about to do. We demonstrate, teach. When I'm facing this way, my left foot is at 9. When I'm facing the other direction, my right foot is at 3. And what I do is I take this position as a chance to rest my upper body. So what I do is I'll literally just lean about 70-ish% of my body weight into this foot. And right now the sweet spot, which might change as I get leaner, is going to be right below my pinky toe. So I just want this glute dent to show up. The quad is going to flex, so I don't have to worry about that because my leg is straight. But yeah, just my own body weight kind of just creates the detail that we want here, which will be more present as I get leaner. We used to teach it as kind of a hamstring pose like this, but that just looks awkward. It's tiring. It flickers a lot. So straight leg is how we usually do it these days. But yeah, foot out a little bit, and I'm literally, if you saw it from the front, I'm leaning into that leg. So I take this as a chance to just to rest up the legs, because they're going to be back to work again in a less passive position once I turn into my back relax. So yeah, I lean my weight into that leg. This time I'm doing it for reals. And then this next part, the upper body portion, is literally just broomstick, but like you bring it across. So you don't want to look like you're standing in a lunch line. You want to bring your taper over. So it's kind of like a front relax, but holding a broom, right? And for most people, most men especially, you're going to have to twist a little bit more than you think you need to. For most guys, there's almost no such thing as like too much twist, especially at the beginning when you're trying to get better at just coming across. So this, you can't really see much, but if I kind of just hit a front relax, pretend I'm holding a broomstick. All right, and this is pretty passive to me. All right, let me get my weight in the right part and not cover my glute with my hand, right part of my foot. And then the next thing for me is going to be kind of the gut punch to get this in. Cough is a good cue. For me, it's more, I'm getting punched, I'm bracing for it. So, this is definitely stringy Friday. I've been through 4 low days up until this point. So less passive up here, but my legs get a break, and legs, they get tired before your upper does. Okay, so we're gonna switch it over to this side. That's my bad side, by the way. I really hate that side. Okay, for this one, kind of the same thing. You want to cheat your legs out, because this less sweep, right? And then, but if I'm like at 10, 2, 9, 3, yeah, all of a sudden you get more action here. Adductors are more present, and yeah, there's 2 ways of doing this pose. In the past, I've squeezed my glutes. I think this year what I'm going to do is have them actually like more of a figure pose. And the cue for this, okay, so this is my stance, is literally pelvic floor. So if you flex your pelvic floor, same muscles you do should you want to stop mid-piss for some reason, right? You can see that they tense up, but they don't crunch up. So that's all I'm thinking of is pelvic floor. And I'm doing this because I feel that when I squeeze my glutes, I yank on my lats enough to the point where I just don't have as much tissue to spread. So I'm saying that right now, but maybe as I get leaner, I might do it like last time where I did do the scrunch butt pose, back relax pose, when during my symmetry round, but not for the muscularity round, which again is everything front double bicep all the way until the most musculars. So set my legs first, okay, kind of a figure gal, but legs out this way, and then I'm just going to set my pelvic floor, and then a little ab crunch at the top so that I have something like some firmness here in my torso to bring my lats over. All right, and I don't just want to protract them, I kind of want them to spread out, and what that does, like for me, my cue is like mental. On this one is going to be my teres is kind of stretched, and yes, my serratus too, but mostly that, like I feel pressure right here, right by the rotator cuff, and all this mess of like stuff. But yeah, not just protracted, but also lats, scapula outwards. So let's set this up. Very unflattering of a pose at this point in my prep. I kind of goofed there. I set up my upper before my lower. All right. So yeah, my two cues on this one's gonna be pelvic floor, adductor, and I do just, the only thing I really think of up top is just like, hey, like feel the scap open and just keep it open. So that one I'm running with 3 cues. By the time I get on stage, hopefully it's just 2, and having some adductor show, because that will flicker on me right now, is something I sort out. All right, side pose, same thing as last time, only on this side. The only one thing I forgot to mention is that I do try to have my foot, my 2 cues on this one are just simply going to be foot, like weight, right below my pinky toe on that part of the foot. And then on this side, that's all I have to worry about. The legs flexed if I do that. And then up top, literally I just have to think about keeping my scapula, this one, open. Definitely my better side. I am much more pliable in this direction. And then, yeah, don't get this hand in the way. Key, especially when you're in transition and you're still trying to get into stage shape, is just to not overpose your poses, because you'll crunch up, and especially in this round, we want to create some silhouettes, a next frame. And if you crunch up too much, because you want to make a little fiber here pop up or a vein show up, that can cost you. Those are bad habits that you're going to take with you deeper into your prep. So yeah, posing about 80%, and always trying to, create a better X frame. The details will come in on their own. So I'm gonna hit a full round without any sort of narrating, I think. I'll resist the urge and just try to nail this a little bit more for you guys. Right. Quarter turn to the right. Always look straight on this pose. Looks freaking weird. All right. And that's it. I do that for 10 minutes, just spin, 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 3 rounds of muscularity. So again, front double bicep all the way through to the most musculars, side tricep, side chest from both sides. And I do that 3 rounds of that. That's it. But the symmetry round, I'm literally just looking like a wacko spinning in circles. But that's because this round, especially in the big shows, I'm expecting it to go on for like 15, 20 minutes. And now we're back. So anyhow, this is how it's going. Pretty well. I think previous years, at this conditioning, I would be like 2 pounds heavier, but a lot of it just has to do with like my changes in eating patterns and hydration patterns, as mentioned before. In the past, like dinner, like last prep, I think dinner was like a 9 or 10, and then I'd wake up like 6, 7. Whereas this year, dinner's super early because we have it as a family. My daughter has an earlier bedtime, so it's usually somewhere between 6 and 7. I wake up somewhere between, kind of depends on the day, anywhere from 5 to 7. So the fasting periods are longer. But also, I literally don't drink any water after like 3 p.m. I'm done with water. And that's because I hydrate a lot so that I have a good training session in the morning. And that literally just keeps me good and hydrated. And evidence of this by the fact that I'm like pissing all afternoon, all evening. I have plenty of water in me, but it's just, I hate waking up to use the bathroom. Anyone who's prepped will tell you just how much more frequent that is. So yeah, using like this method where literally I don't have a sip of water from like 3-ish p.m. all the way to like my 6, sometimes 5, 7-ish. It's kind of a decent sized window wake up time. Just makes it so that I am lighter than I typically am. So that's something to make note of. But yeah, these are the weigh-ins. We're doing well. I think the physique will really come to life in the next 2 or 3 pounds that I lose. So, but I'll definitely have to break a few more 160s than I did last prep. I think last prep it happened like twice. I think this prep I'll probably see weeks where my average is like 158, 159. Whereas like last time, because of the eating and drinking schedule, whereas like last prep, I think the lowest I touched was a running average of 161. So yeah, things are good. I feel in the zone. This thing is becoming more and more real, whereas like when I started, it was just kind of like abstract and something I was working towards, but it just didn't register in my brain. And like now finally, yeah, like it feels like what it's supposed to feel like, mostly from like in just becoming very real. In regards to like mood, energy and all that, still running pretty good. Like honestly, I could probably maintain 3 to 4 pounds above this and feel perfectly fine. So it's not terrible yet, but it's coming. And I feel that it's going to be like sometime this month, prep will hit me with that punch in the mouth and you just got to deal with it. So, yep, I'll see you guys next time.